What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? T to the M to the IDD, and today we have Photo Me Ike live with us on Creatives to Creatives. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. This is a pleasure. You know, I love talking to people and having conversations, so I'm excited.
First of all, what I have to do is I don't literally have any roses with me right now, but it definitely gotta give you your roses for what you are doing, what you did for the community, just in general.
You know, I appreciate it. Yeah, it took me 5 years to get this far, but we still rocking, we still going, we still grinding. So the hustle don't stop. Okay.
It definitely don't stop, and I'm definitely learning that.
Tell me about it, man. Look, it's always a
So
new. It's always a new person who ain't seen your work, who ain't heard of you. It's always somebody new to make a first impression of. Don't matter how many people know about you. It's always somebody that they ain't heard of you yet. So
uh, that's true. That's true. 1,000%. So let's tap into your journey on the YouTube side. How did that start?
you know, I always like answering this question because I like having this conversation and talking about this. But to try to keep it short in your time frame, like I learned a lot on YouTube. Like YouTube was a place where I would just go and learn stuff. That's how I learn. I'm good at learning by watching videos. So when
Yeah.
I first got into photography around 2009, 2010, I went on YouTube and I learned as much as I could. I found videos and mainly it was for gear stuff. And then they went into like, as you watch gear videos, you find people talking about techniques. And so as I learned how to shoot on YouTube, YouTube also became a place for entertainment. So not only in the photography space was I learning, I was being entertained. All of the old bloggers like, you know, Casey Neistat, I've been on him early in the days back when Higa TV, whatever, this Asian guy, he used to have like he did these sketches and stuff. The early days of Dormtainment, like all of the old stuff from back in the day, I was always entertained by YouTube.
Yeah.
I forgot this other it was a car show, Fast Lane Daily. If you're a car person and you're watching this, you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember Fast Lane Daily with Daily. Anyways, YouTube was always my source of entertainment. And then as time goes by, as I got better and better at photography, I remember I started hearing a conversation about people getting paid on YouTube. So I was like, oh, well, how much do people make? And I found this one
Yeah.
guy's channel where he talked about how much he made. And he said in a year he made $23,000 doing YouTube videos. Now that was overall, like that was including AdSense. He sold some
Okay.
shirts. And so I was like,
Okay.
dang, 23,000 for making YouTube videos? I was like, shoot, I could do that. And so I basically just figured out like what could I make videos about, and that was photography. And so I started a photography channel. Now,
Okay.
before you go, the reasoning that I decided to do photography was a little bit deeper than just wanting to make money on YouTube, but that was a driving factor that was making money. The deeper part was me being a black person in the photography space. So
Absolutely. Because when I picked up the camera, I actually had my camera since about 2017. And I didn't really get serious about taking portraits of people until 2019. And I had a wedding that I had to shoot. So I'm practicing, practicing, practicing. And then I go to YouTube because what else do you do, right?
hmm
I go to YouTube, and at this point, I have a Nikon D800, and I put Nikon D800 wedding, wedding video, and then
that
who pops
search,
up?
that search, SEO.
Yeah, and then here we got Photo Me Ike pops up, and then I just like binge watched all of your stuff, and it was funny because a lot of your stuff at that time was a lot of wedding stuff.
hmm
So that was pretty interesting because once when you get into weddings and shooting weddings, I was just intrigued because I was like, man, he doing BTS at a wedding that's already hectic.
Yeah, well, that also helped me build my YouTube channel in the early stages because when I started a YouTube channel, my first video I was nervous to make, and I was like, how do I do it? What do I do? But I just basically was emulating what I saw other people doing. Well, my very second video, or maybe third video, was a wedding vlog, like super early into my YouTube career, because the thing about me is when I started YouTube, I had already been a photographer for like 5, 6 years. I'd have been doing
Okay.
full-time work. So
Okay.
weddings were a normal thing for me. And what I would do at weddings, I would Snapchat the entire wedding. Like I would always Snapchat the events. So I was kind of already vlogging, but just BTS, like, what people
Yeah.
do now, Instagram stories at the weddings. I did that on Snapchat. So I went to a wedding one day and I said, you know what? I damn near Snapchat a wedding. What if I just vlogged it? Because I never seen anybody really doing that on YouTube. Not
Yeah.
to just say it didn't happen and people didn't do it. I just didn't see it wasn't as prominent on YouTube. And honestly, it's still not very prominent now. Like you see
Yeah.
a few people, but it's not a big thing. Not as much as you see people shooting models and stuff like that. So I was like, let me bring a camera with me, and at the time we had a Fuji XE1 or XA1, one of them old Fujis that had a flip up screen that flipped to the
Uh-huh.
top. And so I brought the Fuji XE1 with me, and that was what I used to record. And I just put it on a tripod, and I just put it in the corner and did my job. And I tried to talk to the camera, and that was like one of my first weddings, and I just did my thing, and then that worked. And I was like, that could be content that I could fill in, because at the time I didn't have as access as to many models as I do now. So
Yeah.
the only way for me to make content was to shoot the weddings that I was doing anyway. So
That's true. So with your channel, you're getting this content, your channel is growing. Okay. Was there a correlation between your YouTube channel growing and like your Instagram following growing, or
absolutely, I'm not a big Instagrammer, so I barely post. If you follow me on Instagram now, I can go a month. I've gone like 2 months without posting not one single Instagram photo, but all the while I'll be posting once a week on YouTube. Now I haven't posted in a while on YouTube either because I've been busy. But before I would never really post on Instagram, or I would post, but it was just basic stupid stuff. When I started a YouTube channel, I would take the pictures that I shot on YouTube and then post them to Instagram and say, YouTube video. I just tried to use my Instagram as a way to advertise that hey, I have a YouTube channel.
absolutely?
Um, yeah, and so the correlation was that like people would find me on YouTube, and then I would have my Instagram in the video, and they would come follow me on Instagram. And so as my YouTube grew, my Instagram grew, and so that's a big reason for a lot of my growth on Instagram is YouTube. And I say that YouTube made me a better photographer. I can say that, easily.
So you're definitely, would you say, taking the critiques from people, like the cutthroat, cutthroat comments that get thrown at you?
Well, I would say that like, I look, I'm what is the word I'm gonna say? Let me think. I'm not very emotional person. Like I don't get like caught up in my feelings about what people say about me, because I already have my idea of myself. I know my weaknesses. I know my strengths. I know
Yeah.
when I do something that was stupid on purpose, and I know when I did something on accident. Sometimes I don't know, and I'm like, oh, you're right. I should fix that. So
Yeah.
I'm a very person that's sure of myself. I know who I am, right? So I don't let people's comments of me throw me off. But
Yeah.
with YouTube making me a better photographer, it came from me being able to experiment and practice on different things and try to be competitive. Because with my job, I get paid to do, basic work, right? So yesterday I had to
Yeah.
go take some pictures at the Cheers Museum that they might put up on a banner, which is cool, but it's not
Yeah.
flashy. It's not none of the cool stuff you see that people do on YouTube. It's basic, stand here, put the light here, take a cool picture, done, right? So
Yeah.
it's nothing
Yeah.
that's flashy. It's nothing that's gonna make me better. It's just me doing something that I do every day. But with YouTube, when I get sent a light, or I get to try a new lens, or I get to experiment, part of YouTube is an experiment for me trying new things to try to make myself a better photographer, as well as showing you guys my process and how I do, what I do. So a lot of things that I've done for YouTube videos are things that I've done just to try to do something new for YouTube, but it's not anything I've been done in my job. There's nothing I've been paid to do.
Yes.
Like so my weddings, when you see my wedding vlogs, that's what I do, right?
Yeah.
But If you see me with a new Godox light or me trying some new stuff, that's me trying to be fun and experiment and create new and different types of work for YouTube and Instagram. But nobody's really gonna pay me because that's not what our work is. Our work is weddings, high
Yeah.
school senior photos, and sometimes family and event stuff. And that stuff doesn't require me to do the stuff that I do on YouTube there. So
So you get more creativity and gives you more practice to be able to kind of freelance and, almost like research and development. You do anything that you kind of want to do and, lessons learned. And that's a good
correct.
point because, I feel like a lot of people watching, you know, should kind of echo the same things and, practice as much as possible.
And YouTube gave me a reason to practice. Like when you do this for a living, I'm sorry if you can hear my kids.
Yeah.
But like typically when you do a job for a living, when you get home, you don't want to do it, right? So
Yeah.
people who like work on cars for a living, they don't want to get home and work on another car. Like if you do tech support for a living, you don't want to go home and whatever the case, whatever the thing you do, you don't want to do at home as well. So when I go and shoot photos for people, if I'm not getting paid to pick up the camera, I'm not gonna pick up the camera because there's no benefit
Yeah.
for me. There's no like there's no end means to an end. So with
Yeah.
YouTube, it was like, well, if I want to make a video, I got to do the shoot. So I'll do the shoot for video, and that'll be my mission. Right, this will be my driving force to do this kind of shoot because I want to make a YouTube video about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if YouTube didn't exist, a lot of these things that you see me do, I would never do, and then therefore I would never get better because I would never have the practice or the reason to do it. I would just do the same type of wedding photography and the same type of portrait that we've been doing for years. So,
That I'm a circle back down
mm-hmm.
too because that's a good point. When we talked about the growth of your YouTube and your Instagram, and you talked about the model base that you had. So
Mm-hmm.
how was your model base at first? Did you have slim pickings or how was that?
So, again, because of my job and what I did for a living, I didn't really take too much time to practice and do stuff outside of that. So, any model that I had was a paid client. And so, like I said, my very first model, the very first person I shot was my cousin. She lives with us. And I was like, oh, she can be cute. She has potential. She can be she can be somebody that I can shoot for YouTube because the model essentially just a live dummy for me. Like, I need somebody who's going to be there so I can practice my lighting or I can show
Yeah.
you guys how to use this lens. I need somebody pretty. I don't want to shoot a test dummy or like a
Yeah.
mannequin. It's not fun. That's boring to me. It's not cool. Shooting a
Yeah.
mannequin, I get it. Scientifically, if you want to be scientific, a mannequin that doesn't move and you want to show like patterns of light, that's the best way to do it. But for me, that's not fun. That's kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I needed somebody to be a live mannequin, and that's what the models are essentially are live mannequins. Now it has evolved into more of a show, right, and a whole
Yeah.
thing. But that's what it was. So my cousin, I was like, hey, can you be, my model because I'm trying to show people how I shoot natural light. And so she came out, and that was that. My second model was a friend of the family. Like she was a client who we did her senior pictures. I was like, oh, she's cute. She could put on a cute outfit, and then she can be a test dummy or mannequin for like a laundromat shoot. And then as those pictures got posted, I started reaching out to the friends of the friends. And at the time, we
Mhm.
had a high school senior model team, a street team. We call them street team, but they were like our model, senior models. I would have
Yeah.
them come out, or I would have their friends come out because they would know of us through our work. And
Yeah.
then, I'm like, oh, by the way, I do a YouTube channel on the side. If you want to do some fun stuff, let me know. So it just kind of grew from there.
Okay. Okay. So in terms of reaching out, do you feel as though your Instagram following plays a big part on the responses that you get now versus maybe if you would have did it back when you didn't have a big following?
Yeah, you know what? Probably. I think it's two part. It's part Instagram following. It's partly my work. Like most of
Okay.
the people who follow me, like I could probably get people to shoot with me that shoot me now, even with half the follow, a third of the followers I get, as long as my work is as good as it is now. Again, I'm a much better photographer today than what I was when I started my YouTube channel back in 2016. The quality of work to me was good back then, but I'm even sharper now. My retouching is a little bit better. My editing is a little bit better. So I'm a much better. I have better techniques. So I'm better like
Yeah.
under pressure now because of so many years of practicing different stuff and trying different lighting. So I'm a little bit more creative. I have more ideas about me.
Yeah.
So my strengths that I have right now, as far as me being a good photographer, I think is more of a pull than my following. But it doesn't hurt to have a good following. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what advice would you give to, some photographers or creators that's looking at this right now in terms of going about reaching out to potential models to do sessions?
You have to crawl before you walk, and you got to walk before you run. And that's essentially what I did. Like in the beginning, I was using people that I knew, friends and family. I wasn't reaching out to no randoms on the internet, like no people who I didn't know. It was people who were in my immediate circle who I could tag on to. And then once I did a good job and proved myself with them, then I reached out to their friends and their family. And then from them, I went to even, and then the circle spread. But I also was good. Like I didn't suck. And a lot of people, I feel like a lot of photographers, feel like, oh, how come models want to shoot with me? You're not good. You're not as good. And they don't want to shoot with you because they feel like you're not going to do anything for them work wise. And so they feel like I'm doing you a favor. You're not doing me a favor. Like in my case, they might feel like, oh, if he shoot with me, like I'm going to be, it's Ike. Like, oh, this is,
Yeah.
I got a little notoriety in my neighborhood, but I started this YouTube channel in 2015, 2016. So people, I think, we always forget like, I've been doing this for 5 years now, almost 5 years
Yeah.
now, almost six. So it took me some time. I can't say that I had this as much access as I did, in 2016 when I first started. So the same thing has to go for you guys. Like, if you look at my channel, my models get better and better over the years. Like you look at the first year, the 2016 videos and the quality of models for the 2017, and it jumps to 2018. It goes up and up and up because I just got better with time, and I started reaching out to more people, friends of friends, and that also helped. Like shooting somebody, and then like let's say this is a scenario, right? Let's say
Yeah.
you want to work with somebody, but you can't get to them. Maybe check their friends list, work with their friends, do a great job with them. Then maybe they'll come around, or do your family member and then reach out to their friends. Because a lot of people, if they don't know, a lot of people are followers, and so they'll wait to see what somebody else does before they jump on.
Yeah.
So like they're like, oh, and it works for us in my job too. Like high school seniors are like, oh yeah, my friend shot with you, and so then I wanted to get my pictures done. I'm like, oh, so you've been knowing about us, but you
Yeah.
didn't want to jump into your friend. No matter how good you are, they don't want to do it to somebody that they know did it. And so a lot of the people who I shoot with know a lot of people, and so because I shot with, let's say, Chanel has a big following, and a lot of people know Chanel. So if they see her on my Instagram, they're like, oh, he shot
Yeah.
with her and did a good job. Cool. So that's just kind of, I had to build that up over time. Like, it takes time.
That's true. I definitely have experienced that to the point where, I was doing a shoot I wanted to do a shoot with one person. And then they were kind of like, all right, when I get some time. So I said, all right, forget it. And I went through the comments. I was like, I need to find somebody. I found a friend, shot the friend, and then here you come, other friend that I originally wanted comes around like, hey, I'm free. I'm like, oh
Is that
yeah,
I've had this same thing, done the same thing, even, and I'm not immune to it. It'll still be me to this day, still having to reach around people, but it is what it is. Like you never get too big. Like it's just the way life works. But you know, you
that's true.
eventually get, if you're trying to get to the promised land, and that person is the promised land, you got there, right? And then from there, whatever her circle is, now you have access to those people. So
That that's facts right there. So, what about your flake ratio? Is it still about the same, or can you
hmm
expect a better percentage as you grow?
you know, the more people you reach out to, the more your chance of somebody flaking, right? So if I just kept the same people in rotation, I'd never have a flake because it's the same people. But
Yeah.
I get bored. I be wanting to see new faces all the time. So I could have a model that's great, and I still
Yeah.
want to shoot somebody else. And I'm like, oh, they were great, but oh, what's she doing? So I'm always looking for another person, a new face, to come through. And so yeah, I do get flakes a lot, but it is what it is. That's the game. Like I'm not reaching out to professionals. I'm reaching out to regular people on the street who aren't
Yeah.
professional models. And if they do think they're a model, they're not. They just an Instagram model. So if you deal with regular people, you get regular people problems. When you deal with professionals, you typically don't have those problems. If you do, they're professional problems and they get solved in a professional way. So
Mm.
if I was hiring somebody from an agency, wouldn't be no flakes because they're getting paid to do a job. But that's kind of what comes with regular folks. So
So I'm like the same way. I'm reaching out to regular folks, and the thing that I do like about uh, new faces is you always get different energy.
mm-hmm.
So how do you go about with your channel, trying to keep entertainment going? Because one thing that kind of amazed me, and the reason why I started going live was because I was like, man, I'd be going live. Let me give it a shot. You know what I mean? Now it's
I'm a
kind of
trailblazer, man. Ain't nobody else going live like I go live. All right,
scary.
trying to show y'all the way. All right.
Man, I was like, it's kind of scary at first because it's like, man, what if nobody come in there? And then lo and behold, after a couple times, my live started rocking. So I was like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. But what? How do you try to keep the entertainment? Because from my perspective on the outside looking in at myself, sometimes I will be looking like, man, it's just amazing to me sometimes that I can keep the audience's attention for so long. Like during the shoot, I'm like, okay, but then I'll just start talking, and it's the same thing.
This is where you're mistaken. You think you keeping their attention. You not. She is, okay?
Oh yeah,
Let the model disappear. See how much attention you keep. It don't gotta be.
yeah.
Shoot that white backdrop with no model and see how many people stay around. All right. Then that'll tell you who's keeping the attention and what they're looking for and what
Yeah,
they're waiting for. Okay. I'm very much aware of what's going on. And usually when I try to do a shoot, I try to go live at the halfway point or towards the end of the shoot because I can be
yeah,
distracted. I can get like and I realize that about myself, and it makes the shoot last longer. So usually I try to get all of my main stuff out the way, and then once I'm like towards the end of the shoot, I'll go live, and then we'll just hang out and do fun stuff. And so, but I tend to, I'm not. What is the word? I try to entertain and keep the vibe fun, and so I'm thinking
yeah,
part of that is myself. Like I like to tell jokes. Like I'm much better off the cuff than I am scripted, and so
yeah,
when I'm live, I'm off the cuff, and it's easy for me to say stuff, funny stuff just like that. And when you see me live, that's who I am. Like if
yeah,
you ever watch my videos and I do the voiceover, I'm like this. So yeah, so I got the thing, and it sounds completely different than what I sound like right now, right?
yeah,
I wish I could sound like this on my scripted when I do my scripts, my voice. I wish I could sound like this, but I can't. It's not in me. So when I do my voiceovers, yeah. So I've used this light before, and Godox, and I'm reading, and Godox sent me the light, and it's been great, and everything I say was been written. I never voice over off the top of the dome. All my voiceovers is scripted. Every single word that I say is scripted. But when I'm talking like this, who
yeah.
knows what I might say? I let it fly.
It just goes.
I let the
So
clips with him. You need to take the clip out again.
we'll want the camera to go out. You're like, oh, my bad, my bad.
Look, hold up.
So
I got a bunch of clips of me, boy.
so when you transition to the YouTube space, the gear, was your
hmm
gear acquisitions, were they YouTube related for
Yep.
more viewers, or were they more focused on supporting your business as senior portraits, weddings? So do you feel like YouTube kind of makes you have the latest and greatest to keep up and be relevant?
Yep. I will say the biggest, and I don't know if I've said this. I've said it before. The Z6. The reason I got a Nikon Z6 when I did was mainly a big reason was for YouTube. I was perfectly fine with my D750. I could have bought another D750, and if I'd never used the Z6 or A7R or whatever those cameras are, I'd be fine with D750s. D8. I wanted a D850. Like a D850 was my goal, and then the Z6 came out, and I was like, I kind of want the Z6 because I can do video, and I don't do video in my job in my main work. I do photo. I'm a photo. It says Icontosh photography and motion, but mainly photographer. I don't do very much video in my professional, but I do a lot
Yeah,
of video for YouTube. So a big driving force me wanting to get a Z6 as soon as I did was like, oh, I could have a camera for videos, for topics for YouTube. Also, this will work in my professional job. I can use it for my professional shoots. I needed to upgrade, like I had a 750 and an 800, so it was time for a new camera.
yeah.
So I was like, oh, let me get the Z6. But I could have saved and got the D850 instead, but I opted for a Z6. So that's one of the biggest examples of YouTube kind of influencing the kind of gear I purchased and why I purchased it. Now, YouTube wasn't the only reason, but I say a good chunk of my like list was like, okay, take photos, also make YouTube videos about it. Like, so
Same here. I feel like the Godox 8300 is what really like started to help lift my channel because I, nobody had it really, and I had to get it from Canada. And when I got it from Canada, people still didn't have it, so I was just like pushing content out like
I brought an 8300 for YouTube. Like I brought mine from Canada from I think it's called Strobe Pro, some shop in
GoPro.
Canada.
Yeah,
Yeah, Strobe Pro. They had it on a discount, so it was like $500. I bought it for 400 because they had it on sale, and I pre-ordered it. So I bought my 8300 from Canada, spent money on it because I didn't get it sent from me. I don't have that kind of plug. So I
yeah.
bought my 8300, made a few videos on it, and then I stopped using it. Then I gave it away because I was like, this light ain't really. So I was like, oh, you can have it. The dude Tristan
So,
that be with me that helped me record, I let him. He's like, can I borrow it? Like, you can borrow it, and I just never asked for it back. So
oh yeah, yeah. You're like, yeah, go ahead, keep it.
I
I
talk to
got
him all the time. I just never asked for it back. I haven't told him that he can have it, but I'm not going to ask for it back. So
yeah, because you got the FJ 200, right? Oh no, it's the
yeah,
400.
I have the Westcott, and that's that also I don't need it because I have Westcott. They sent me some lights too, but I was gonna buy 8400. That was my next light I was gonna buy, and then Westcott popped up, and I was like, well, hey, so
Yeah, I'm gonna use this instead.
yeah.
So
And the photography space is very gear driven. Like gear drives a lot of the photography, and so having gear that's relevant that people are looking for, that people want to see, is going to help you. And I understand that. So like I'll rent gear. Like I have rented a bunch of different cameras and borrowed cameras from people just to make YouTube videos, just to help the success of my channel, and
yeah,
it's worked out. So
that's that's a big thing that I'm looking into for 2022. Although, like where I'm at is not many camera stores or like local camera stores. I got like one in DC, and you got to drive to get there. So that's a whole another situation.
my
So
closest camera store, the one
uh,
that I go to, my local one that I did that Z9 video, that it's like a 45-minute hour drive from my house to get there. If it's traffic, like if I go rent gear, it's 45 minutes to an hour there and an hour back. So that's until, but I consider investing in myself, investing in my channel, and so me doing whatever I do to get this gear is me trying to like help make myself successful in my YouTube channel. And when you look at it like that, it's just a necessary, part of the grind.
absolutely. So the Z9, are you making that a big chunk of YouTube, or is it a necessity for you?
That's a good question. So both, right? I don't want to be the person that's like, you gotta buy the latest and greatest, or you ain't, like if
Yeah.
you somebody who shoots a D750, and of course I always try to have new gear because I know that drives YouTube, but I don't want to be the person that's like, oh dang, like I feel like I gotta be like I can have a Z9 or a Z6 or whatever, or I'm not gonna create. That's not the case. It's
Yeah.
just it's just a byproduct because I have the gear and I use the gear for videos and photos, and so it looks like that. But I try to always mix up the gear that I'm using. So even with the Z9 that I'm gonna purchase and have, I may use that for video and say, okay, well, if I'm doing a portrait in the studio, a portrait shoot, or a shoot outdoors, and I'm testing a lens, I don't necessarily need what the Z9 is going to give me for
Yeah.
a portrait, for a regular portrait that I can use a Z6 or a Z6 II for. But the video capabilities and having 4K 60 and all of that is going to be
Yeah.
more beneficial to me in the video than using the camera for the photos. So a lot of times, I remember when I first got my Z6, I used it for video sometimes because I was like, oh, I'd actually rather have this for video. I can still take pictures with my
Yeah.
D800 just fine, on my 750 just fine. But I need better quality video. So, but yes, I will try to use the camera, but I want to try to avoid using it all the time. Oh my God, my
Uh-huh.
kids! Can you hear them?
Oh yeah, yeah,
They
yes.
are screaming at each other. I am sorry, you guys. My kid, but this is real life, right? This is real life.
Yeah, this is live, live, live action.
Yeah. Um, but what I was saying was that I don't want to be the person that every time you see a video, it's a Z9 in my hands, because I still want to try to show people that, like, look, I'm gonna do a great shoot, and I'm gonna do it with this Z6 that I bought in 2018. It's
Yeah.
2022. I'm still rocking the Z6. Like, that's intentional for me. So I'm gonna try to use it to get the views and to get the make different videos to get search engine, like, oh, fitness
Yeah.
shoot with the Z9, sports shoot with the Z9, like using the Z9 4K stuff like that. I'm gonna do that because that's the hustle, but I'm also still gonna do shoots with my other camera. And it's sometimes it gets annoying because sometimes if I'm not using what you think I should be using, I get
Yeah.
what happened to the. I remember I was using something that was like, yo, where's the Z6 at? And I'm like, are you still using the Z6 too? Are you still using? I'm like, yes, it's right here. I still use those cameras. I'm
Yeah.
just using this one. Like, I'm my the pictures I take. You can take these pictures with a Canon Rebel, like, or
Yeah.
D3000. Like, you don't need my camera. I'm just using it because YouTube and search out and putting the gear in the title helps. So
Yeah, that gear driven. I'm telling you. So what are your key features that you are looking forward to in the Z9?
okay, so now, when it comes to my work,
Yeah.
the main area where the Xenon can benefit me is the autofocus, and in the
Okay.
autofocus, it's for my wedding work because I still shoot weddings. I'm still a full-time photographer, and the weddings are the most uh, demanding things that I shoot. And for me, the Z6 is fine during the day, but when it gets, when the reception time and the lights go low, that's when the
Yeah.
struggle starts to happen. Z6 II is better, but it's still not as good as like say my 750. Like with my 750, I would just go to my center point and just focus, recompose, and my center
Yeah.
point would get it. Like I'd be able to focus pretty quickly in center point, and then I would know how to compensate for it. With the Z6, sometimes it takes the little bit. It takes a little time to get the focus. It's like hunting, and then it
Yeah.
finally gets a shot. And by the time it finally gets a shot, I've missed the moment, or it's on to something else. Like I still get my shots, as you can see. I'm still performing, but
Yeah.
if I could have a camera that was a little bit snappier and able to get the shots like right when I was trying to get the shots, then that would make my life a lot easier when it comes to weddings. When it comes to portraits, senior shoots, the stuff I did yesterday, like the Z6 and the Z6 II are just fine. And so
Fine.
the Z9 really is going to be beneficial for me when it comes to low light photography and, like I said, weddings and things like that. That's where the Z9 is going to be key for me.
Okay. So
Outside of the video features, I'm excited about being able to shoot 8K, 4K, 120. Like that's exciting. Those things are pretty cool too. A built-in grip with a screen that flips out. There are a lot of features that I like about it, but if you ask me why do you need the Z9, well, I would like to have it because the features that it has are going to help me in my wedding work.
So what is your, I would say, most complex or the trickiest part of your wedding work? So, like when you have the reception, you have the main event, or you might have the main look, or get in that right position for the dress. Like which part of that is the most critical complex that you think?
Um, for me, the hardest part, I guess, is the reception time, because every reception is pretty different.
Yeah,
Like the ceremony is always going to be the same setup. It's always going to be an aisle. It's always going to be a bride and groom right here, and it's I'm always I'll have like a little way I go about a little dance I do around the reception. But the groom's
yeah,
always going to be like right here. I'm always going to point my camera at him. She's going to come down. It's always the same thing. But receptions are always different. Sometimes they come in and they go right to dancing. Sometimes they come in and they eat first and then they do dance later. Sometimes they do the toast right next to the table. Sometimes they do the toast over here and the table's over there. Sometimes the reception is like natural lit because it's during the daytime. Sometimes the reception is in a dark venue, and I have to use my lights and I have to make sure the lighting is good. So the reception is always going to be where it's like, okay, what's that gonna look like? The ceremony is pretty straightforward. They're not moving. Like in the ceremony, they're standing right here facing each other.
yeah,
So I just get this shot. I go get that shot. Like I have a whole shot list in my head for the ceremony. When we're doing the getting ready stuff, that's pretty simple because they're just right here putting their clothes on. So there's not a whole lot of. It's just me getting the right angle for that. Portraits are pretty simple. Stand there, smile, look cute. Get
yeah,
get your poses there. But the reception, it could be, you never know what's going to happen in reception. Like it's never the same. It's always something different. So that's where it requires me to use more of my skills and knowing how to
yeah.
light it, knowing which way I want to light it, knowing where I want to stand, and if I have to run here, run there. So
The weirdest thing that I had is I was doing a wedding in April. And I'm assuming that the ceremony, that they're gonna walk down this aisle, right?
hmm
Man, they had they had all the females walking in from this side, all the males walking in on this side, and I was like, man, this.
yeah,
So
that
that
was a
was
little
one of
different.
one of those situations.
Yeah, but even still, they're going to end up in the same place, right? They all ended up. So that was just them coming in. But once they there, you rolling, right? Okay, they're gonna be
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there. They're gonna say their vows. I love you. I do. They're gonna kiss each other. And they're gonna walk back down. Like same thing every
yeah,
time.
yeah. And that reception piece, you leaving? Are you leaving if they don't give you time and let you eat? Hell, you deleting all the files? You heard of that story?
There's only one time I didn't eat at reception. It only happened to me once, and it wasn't on purpose. It's not that they didn't let me eat. It was like the caterer or the people, because really a lot of times in those situations you have the caterers or the people who are running the reception, the people with the food, they want to serve the guests first. They're like, oh, we're gonna serve all the guests, then we're gonna serve you. And I'm like, you gonna serve all the guests? By the time you get serving all the guests, they're gonna be ready to do the toast, and then I'm not gonna be able to finish my plate or eat my food. So that happened once because they were kind of running late, and so they were like, oh, we're gonna get you a plate after the guests, and they were feeding the guests, and then they were like, oh, we gotta do the toast. So they started doing the toast. I'm like, now I gotta go do the toast. So I ate candy and a bunch of stuff, but it wasn't that serious. It wasn't like they were saying no, you can't eat. It was a situation that kind of ended up that way. I ended up getting some food, some snacks here and there, but because they had like a little candy bar and stuff like that, so I
Yeah.
wasn't starving, but I didn't get to eat when I wanted to eat, and so that was annoying. But and then there was one other time where like just recently they wanted to serve me after the guests. I was like, look, I need my food right now. Please, can I get a plate? Like, just put it on. They were like, oh, well, the couple wanted to make you a special. I'm like, no, I don't need no special plate. Just put
Yeah.
me some, just put me some rice and some chicken on the joint. I'm good. Like, so, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put myself in a situation for that to be the case or what happened with, old girl or old boy or whatever. Like they
Yeah.
kind of they went into that all wrong, and I don't go into my weddings in that way. Like so.
So with YouTube,
Hmm.
let's talk about lighting with portraits. What is your go-to setup?
The sun.
Always can count on it.
The natural light, the sun is. When I say YouTube made me a better photographer, I started using off camera more because of YouTube videos. Like, oh, I gotta make a video. What's a topic? Oh, off camera flash. In my work, we rarely use flash. It's rare that we use flash in our professional work. We do what we need to, but like it's not something we do a lot of. We mainly do natural light. Weddings is mainly natural light for me. So my go-to is always going to be um, a good sunset, and I'm good to go. We can make it happen.
Yeah. Now, what about reflectors on deck, or you just straight?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, reflectors. I don't. No, we not doing crappy natural light photos. They're gonna be good natural light pictures. So that's why you see me with those poses where I'm holding the light and doing this. It matters.
Yeah, I had to force myself one time to shoot natural because, and it's funny because people will automatically go to off camera flash. It was a perfect scenario for me to use off camera flash. The sun was setting, I was at a beach, and the sun was behind her, and it was a perfect time to use flash. But I said I am going to force myself to use natural light. And immediately, what people say, man, you should have used a strobe here. You should have used a strobe here. I'm like, man, look.
People like what they like and they feel like, and I won't say one is better than the other. They're just different. Like you can use a flash in a situation where natural light is perfect, and you can you can go natural light in a situation where that be perfect, and you just get two different looking photos. And sometimes the flash is going to look better, and then to me sometimes the natural light is going to look better. I don't think that every time you pull out a flash you're going to be pulling out get the best results. I think sometimes natural lighting gives a more natural organic feel to some photos, but it's harder to use natural light and get it right than it is to use flash and get it right.
Now
So
that
yeah.
that is facts, all for on 1,000%.
So the reason people always jump to off-camera flash is because they know they can get the same consistent results with the same technique. With natural light, it depends on where the sun is coming. It depends on what's in the background, what's in the foreground, what's your environment like. If the light's bouncing off a building, if you're in a plain field with there's no bounce, like what time is it? Where's the sun located? So it's way more to consider with natural light, and there's way more that goes into making a great natural light picture than just pulling out a flash, putting a 40-inch softbox and hit and go.
Yeah. So, well, as we dwindle down, how how do you project or see Photo Me Ike's YouTube channel for 2022 for everybody watching right now?
Um, Jeez, that's a good question. Probably gonna be more the same, to be honest with you. Uh, like I
Any
have a
any
lane. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say any particular goals of mine.
There's ideas for videos that I wanted to do. I can't say that there's any goals for the channel per se,
Okay.
because like to me, like I'm doing what I've always wanted to do. Like my channel is where I wanted. Like I was, oh, I would hope to get 100,000 followers. I got 100,000 subscribers. Like okay, cool. I hit that 100. Like I like to get 1 million. That'll happen at some point. 20, 30 years, whenever it happens. Um,
Yeah.
but as far as my channel goes, like I think that like I gotta kind of figure out if I want to try to increase the production value and like getting more cameras, maybe trying to have somebody come film. Because a lot of times, like if I can't get nobody to film, I'll just put up a tripod and then work on that. So I think for me, for 2022, is going to just be working on trying to make better quality videos,
Yeah.
and then coming with better ideas and better concepts. Like, so this, right? Like what we're doing here, I wanted to do this in like 2018, like talk with a bunch of other professionals about what they do, their perspective. I never got around to doing it. So, and Ryan Troy does it a lot. Like he's doing like a lot of things that I wanted to do way back when. That's why I got StreamYard for that purpose and never, really took advantage of it. There's ideas for videos. Like I have like funny sketches ideas, and I'll tell you this one, right? And
Yeah.
you'll see it, maybe you won't see it, but I just want to put it out there, so maybe somebody will do it. But I've always had, how Jessica Cabasi does 3 photographers shoot 1 model.
Yeah.
Now she came out with that a few years ago. This is how long I've been sitting on this idea. So I have an idea for 3 photographers shoot 1 model, except I'm the 3 photographers. So now that involves me exactly, right? so think Martin, think Jerome, think
Yeah.
Mama Payne. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Imagine all 3 of them in one at the same time, right? Or like, think Tyler Perry, think what's the Medea, and then the uncle,
Yeah.
whatever, and then the brother that they be going
Yeah,
back, like,
brother.
yeah. So that's gonna involve a little bit of trickery with the camera angles and stuff. But I always had this idea, like, what if I was the 3 different photographers and I would have like a wig on for one person and be like, oh, the girl, or whatever.
Yeah,
And then
that's-
I'd be like the stereotypical dude with like my pants, my belt, with the I Shoot Raw shirt on, with like boots, with some
Man,
boots on or
I
whatever.
can just see, I can see another angle of another person being like, "See, son, you need that backlight back there. You
Exactly.
always
Yeah.
gotta have
Right.
that
Yeah.
backlight. You're doing it
Trolling
wrong."
myself, like I want to troll myself, so I tell you all my ideas. I don't care what you guys think of it, even if somebody copies it. But like me making jokes about myself off camera while I'm shooting. So like how like you watch Haha Davis and he be talking to himself in the video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want to do that and say and make the little jokes that people make in the comments in real life in the video. So that's an idea. I I have so many ideas. There's one I want to do one where I spoof other photographers and make fun of them in my videos. So like me pretend to be your favorite photographer. So I have this one idea, and this is funny. This is no shade, but me and Brandon already did a collab. But this is what I'm doing for Brandon. I'm gonna be like, what's all up? So the camera gonna be up here, and this will be like, what's up, y'all? Brandon, hey, hold up, down here, and then put the camera down. All right, this, because he's short as I don't know what. So.
Yeah.
You know how Mark was on his knee. They'd be like, hold up, wait, this is the exact line. Okay, what's up? Wait, hold up, down here. Oops. Okay, here we go. What's up, folks? It's your like, hold up. Yeah, so I was gonna do that. I was gonna try to spoof Tony and have a video and shoot it at 1.2 and then be like looking with all kinds of funny stuff, because I'm a jokester. I like making jokes. I like making fun of people. Like I don't mind getting made fun of myself. Like I hope people don't take my stuff seriously.
It's funny because I thought about doing some intros, and I was going to do one and comment like with one of my videos like, what's going on, guys? T May here, back at it again.
Oh, yeah. I got one for you too. I already got you. So, you guys, we are here with the brand new Nikon Z6. So we're gonna start with the camera angle. No, just look, all right. Then hold on, now I'm gonna do Ryan Troy, but I'm gonna lick my lips first.
Yeah. Ryan Troy, back at it again.
This is Ryan. What's up, folks? Now, we're gonna talk about right now. Before you go into that, tell me, what did you think about? No.
Yeah, he's like. Man, you know the I think that is one of the one of the things that kind of seemed like it was a barrier of, I don't know if creators on YouTube felt like they wanted to, just be better than the next person instead of collaborating with one another. Is that like a thing?
I do. I do want to be better than the next person, but I also can be friends with you at the same time. Like me wanting to be better than you doesn't mean we can't be friends or we can't be cool,
Right,
right? I can be cool with people I feel like I'm better than, and we could be buddies. I can still ask you what you think, or like, and feel like I didn't mention this before, but like part of me being a better photographer on YouTube was me being competitive with myself. Like, how can I
yeah,
take myself to the next? How can I be as good as this person? And I might do a shit like, nah, it ain't hitting like so and so hitting, or it ain't there like this person would do it. And so I'm very critical of myself in my
right,
work in hopes of trying to be, and that's how we are here, like in my own town. Like I'm trying to be up there with the goats, right? So part of, even in my business, part of us being so great and being, I guess, as good as we are, is we were really competitive. And like, and this is why I always tell people, go outside, like get outside of your circle and
yeah,
find out other people and get around those people. Like for me, WPPI has been very helpful to me because I've been around people who are better than me, and I've been able to soak energy from them. Hold up a second.
I gotta leave soon, so I need my stuff.
Okay, all right, cool. See me like 10 more minutes.
I don't. Okay.
And so like part of it was like, okay, going to WPI, seeing that these people's work on top. Oh, jeez, Lord, shoot. Sorry.
all right,
Seeing these people's work and being like, how do I get to that level, right? And
you're
so
right,
if you end up staying in your own circle or your own neighborhood, you're only going to be as good as the people in your neighborhood or in your city or in your town. And if you have somebody that's excellent, good for you. But like I've always looked outside of that and try to
right,
be as good as the people who are even better than those people in my neighborhood. Same thing goes for YouTube. Like I'm like, okay, oh, this person's really good. Okay, I gotta step my game up and get my work. I don't care if my video was as good as their video. I just want my work to be as good, if not better. Or I just want it to be to where it's like, all right, they can respect it because I'm right there with you. So I'm competitive in that nature. I don't mind saying it that like, oh, the whole like community over competition. No, I'm competition and community. We can do both.
yeah. No, I agree. That's one thing that I like about YouTube is it does expose you to, a lot of people who, you just like, wow, and then even through, I've been able to grow my Instagram from YouTube, and it has given me access to people in other countries, and they're like, I could see other people's work that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that aspect, and it does always challenge me to be like, you could look at somebody work and be like, man, that right there.
Mm-hmm. And I see that, and I'm like, how can I push myself to do work as good? 'Cause if I see their work and I like it and I admire it, if I feel like, man, I want to do something, I would try to figure out how to do that. So if they've lit there, if they've used a certain type of lighting, if they've used a certain type of like composition or a lens, not that I'm gonna try to copy them and be like them, but I
Yeah,
just try to consider like, what can I do different this time? Like, how can I, like the whole hot springs thing that came from me watching another guy who went to the hot springs. I'm like, oh, that spot is dope. Like, and his pictures were dope. And I'm like, I like that. I want to go there and try to get and do my own thing. So that's how that came about.
right, right. And it's always nice because you can take the idea and add your twist to it, and boom, now it's yours.
Yeah.
So we got new ideas coming for Photo Miyake. We're gonna have some. At least you don't have a weekly video every
I ain't gonna
every
promise that.
week.
We're not making no promise. I can't promise that. I can't make no
you
promises
know,
there.
I go to some channels and they got it in the banner weekly video, and I go to the video. Last video posted 6 months ago.
See, I know better than to tell that lie. Like I might tell a few. I might say something. I exaggerate, but I'm not telling that lie. I already know that. Like that. Don't even come here if you expecting something new every week. But I'm gonna try. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all we can do. So what we're going to do is leave them off on a good note, give some inspiring words to the folks that are watching this right now. You got any words of encouragement to increase their productivity and creativeness of their work?
Dang, I don't. Yikes! I don't know what to say. Like I don't even like saying concepts like "keep on trying." Like, man, out of here.
Yeah.
I hear that crap. Just keep being you, man. F out of here. I ain't trying to hear that. Stuff be so corny. No, I don't like. I mean, but I guess at the same time it works. So like, I don't know what. I don't have anything like. I don't. Damn.
I think
This is sad.
Yeah. Oh no, I think you actually probably touched on it though, because when we spoke about you continuously using YouTube to purposely try new things and find reasons to do photo shoots. I think that kind of ties back into our audience where sometimes they might not do photo shoots as often, and then you kind of wonder why. Man, why isn't my photos getting any better? Why, things like that. So,
Yeah, I would say like so in that for me, it's trying to figure out a purpose and not to find your purpose in life, nothing like that, right? Figure out your rhyme and reason, like why do you do it, and then once you figure out your what convicts you to do what you do, try to do it to the best of your abilities, right? So for me, I wanted to make YouTube channels because I was like, oh, I can make this is another source of income. So there's revenue here. So I'm trying to be as good as I can to make as much money as I can. Two, there's a space where I can be at to where I can be somebody of color, black, that represents, in this space. And I want to be one of the best people in this space that's black as well. So those are two things for me. And so that's what drives me is one, whenever I need to make some money or try to make some money, what can I do to get my funds up, money up or whatever, and building a presence. So everything I do on YouTube, a lot of times is in furtherance of those goals, either building a presence or trying to get paid somehow, some way. And I want to do those two things while also being myself. I don't ever want to change. I don't ever want to code switch or anything like that. I want to be who I am as best as I can be. And if I can't do that, then this ain't the place for me. So the minute I got to come up here with a bow tie on, with some sunglasses and sit here and talk straight and be proper, it's not going to be fun for me anymore. So as long as I can keep being myself, being competitive, also having fun with my photography, because photography is something I do love, I do enjoy. So I'm also having fun. Like you have all of the elements. So figure out, if you're having fun, always try to have fun. Like if it's your job, it's your job. Do your job, right? But try to have fun at your job. When you're working, try to have fun, regardless, of what's going on. Make sure you have your goals packed and make sure whatever you're doing is for your goals, so that you don't get lost and you end up not fine. You end up like doing stuff because you thought it was cool. Like, so
yeah.
I guess that's something. Sorry, I hope that works.
Well, leave us a comment in this section below.
Yeah, tell me something. Like, put something below what I can say.
Let them know.
I'm not the most sentimental person, as you can see, which has helped me.
Let us know if that works from Ike. If that was a good pick me up or
some kind of insight. I feel sometimes I don't get enough time to talk and just let my thoughts out. So like in situations like this, I just get the word vomit. I'm just saying whatever, but it is coming from a genuine place. I'm not just saying something to try to be cool. Like who I am right now is who I am in person. If you've met me in person, like I'm the same guy through and through. And that's what helps me sleep at night, knowing that like I'm not, playing some character or trying to put on a face or trying to be something for some goal. This is who I am.
Yeah, because that could get hard really quick.
And I'm not stressed about like the channel. If the channel grow, it grow. If it don't, it don't. Like I'm not gonna stress out about this, that, and the third. I'm gonna be if it, like I said, if it can't work with me doing what I do and being who I be, this ain't for me.
Now, and that's a takeaway right there.
Right.
All right, guys. This is T to the M to the IDD with Photo Me Ike on another episode of Creatives to Creatives. Make sure y'all hit that like button and drop us some comments below. Peace.
Peace out.